Behold, my glorious supporter, FreeWilliam, has requested some character design buildcraft. Oh. FreeWilliam asks, what costume trends enhance your anime game visual media experience? So the question here is about which ones make me like things more. I think that you're going to find that with me, the ones that make me like things more, I'm going to have an explanation for why that is just a good way to design a character. That's the reaction it gives me. I'm not sure that I recognize the ones that make me like something more, but which I can't explain why, because that is a weakness of mine. I look for explanations for things, so I often overlook when something is having an effect on me that I cannot name. I don't know, I have no idea why, and so I have more trouble recognizing it. You gave some examples. Let's read them. For example, FreeWilliam likes vertical or horizontal color bands. Open jackets have color channels for both inner and outer wear without putting all the onus on a zipped up jacket. Half jackets or capelets can play nicely with leg wear or hip accessories. However, beware the dreaded Power Ranger syndrome, where the curtains match the windows, furniture, and paint. Indeed. Akame Kill, a few more examples. We've both watched this show, has quite a few examples of criminal, because they're assassins, color choice, while shows in the magical girl genre cross or skirt this line. That's a absolutely criminal pun, but what are you going to do? Okay, so which ones do I like? Those are good examples, so I'll go through them. But overall, the thing that resonates to me is that character designs can be good in a lot of different ways. Mario is a reasonable character design that I don't know if I would say I like, but it certainly works. It's very recognizable. It isn't just a block of color like Sonic, although the people who design Sonic sort of know that that's true because Sonic's shoes are red. It's just too similar to Mario, so they couldn't go too far, right? Ridiculous. Anyway, personally, I think Sonic is not a very good-looking character, and Mario is a significantly better-looking character from a, hurting your eyes or not perspective. But they're both very good iconography. I just think that Mario does a better job sacrificing less for iconography to be a character that doesn't look bizarre. Like when you look, that there's an amount of colors that sort of makes some sense rather than just being all blue and then red shoes because they know they did something wrong. I mean, I have no idea if that's actually, they probably think that that's good and it's fine, but if you see someone cosplaying Mario, sorry for making you imagine that, you'll be more sorry in a minute. I'll be more sorry in a minute, hopefully. Mario can look okay, I guess, because his clothing and character design are sort of an amount of those colors that you would actually wear. Cosplaying Sonic, sorry, is not as aesthetically pleasing because it's all blue. That is simply not how good aesthetics work. If you like Sonic, that is fine. You're not being ridiculed for that, and those people can think that that does look good, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying that from an objective aesthetic perspective, you can predict that more people will dislike that because it hasn't considered basic character design that humans just aesthetically enjoy. The world is not one color, and so we probably evolved something to want some different colors. So there you go. Moving right along. We have Power Ranger syndrome. Yes, well, the Power Rangers need to be different colors because they are all the same. Akame ga Kill, on the other hand, features characters that could not be more different from each other, that are all completely different, distinct people with very distinct weapons that have their own names, that are easy to remember, that have distinct abilities. The characters have voice actors and actresses that give very distinct performances. So why do the characters still need to be color-coded? Huh? Akame ga Kill, what do you have to say for yourself? Huh? Why does Mine, M-I-N-E, Mine is what I'd think she'd be called, but they say Mine, go figure, is a sniper. And she has a sniper rifle, and it's named Pumpkin or something. I even remember this because the show puts a lot of emphasis on it. And the way it works is that if she's in a pinch, then it does more damage. It has a bigger explosion, right? And she is wearing a garish, pinkish, purple dress. Why? You would never have any trouble recognizing this character if she just wore something that didn't hurt my eyes. Why? Now I know, like, part of why is because her character is kind of like that. She's an obnoxious, bratty girl, and so they gave her an obnoxious, yeah, whatever. But she's the waifu character in a lot of people's minds from that show. There are plenty of others, but and so I don't know. Personally, I feel like I'm not convinced the show would lose much by making her have normal looking clothes. It's just that it wouldn't be as able to stand out from a crowd. And that's where character design gets bad in the name of making you remember it. And so it's like, I remember mine's character design. I remember it because I hate it. I don't think that really improves your show's situation, but here we are talking about it, so I guess it does. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. So I don't like those things. I'm mostly going to talk about things I don't like. There are some magical girl shows you mentioned. I feel a little bit more okay with there very much is Power Ranger syndrome in these shows. The characters usually have a color, a key color. Madoka Magica has, the characters just have a color, and their hair is that color, their outfit's that color. It's not all that color, because a big draw of these shows is fashion. And so, for example, Madoka is pink, and her hair is pink, and her outfit is pink, and it's mostly just a poofy dress. But Mami has yellow as her key color. So her outfit is this, like, actually pretty stylish, like, reasonable looking. Mami's thing is that she's supposed to be like the older sister figure, or a more of an adult authority figure in the series, and she looks it. She's wearing an outfit that is like what maybe dressing to impress a little, but like stylish adult woman could reasonably wear. And maybe college, but anyway, and that's the point, right? Like, of course, that's intentional. I like that. I like Mami's character design. Mami herself, not the biggest fan, but that character design, nice, cute. I have dated people that dress like that, and I liked that thing about them. So I clearly enjoy that character design. But yeah, I mean, I guess a pattern with me is that I do sort of enjoy things that I would sort of like in real life. Like, it's fantasy. Like, you're watching the thing, and to me, there's some sort of, I like the idea of that thing being more like my life experience. And so if it's just flagrantly unrealistic, I'm not a person who needs their immersion to be maintained at all times, but it's not like I don't care. Like, there's definitely it's a spectrum, and I do care a little bit about that. So that's going to come up again. Now I want to get into what I think is probably the best example I can give you, which is Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is, and I love talking about this, has this kind of fun motivation where it's a gacha game, and that means that you won't get characters reliably. You can't just pick a character and buy them. You have to basically gamble for them. Genshin Impact has a pretty particular balance that we won't get into too much here, but the 4-star characters, there are 2 rarities of characters, 4 and 5-star. And the 4-star characters, if you play the game ongoing, as it you're moving along playing the game frequently, you will eventually be able to fairly reliably get pretty much all of the 4-star characters. You don't have to pay a bunch of money, or any money necessarily, or do anything special. With a little luck, and really only a little, you can realistically get most, if not all, of the 4-star characters. The 5-star characters, however, even if you pay money, you're probably not going to get most of them. They're preposterously rare, and they're the main, chase item in the game. If you were going to pay a huge amount of money into this game, like I'm sure you've all heard of people doing, this is what you would be doing it for. And so, when you play the game needs to sell those characters to you. However, to make the game playable for a person who doesn't have a lot of money, and again, like, people have some money if they have the internet and a phone, right? But gacha games frequently cost enough that you probably literally don't have enough money to get the 5-star character, even if you wanted them, and you were willing to pay. It would be hundreds of dollars. You're just not going to get them, right? And so for these games to become truly popular worldwide phenomena, they have to be relatively accessible to free players because some people will just need to be free players. In Japan, there are spending laws where below a certain age, you just can't pay more than a certain amount of money for gacha games. So, yeah, I mean, they have to be playable for free-to-play players. You might ask where I'm going with this about character design. The consequence of all this is that the 5-star characters cannot be so vastly superior to the 4-star characters as to make them particularly meaningful gameplay pieces. The game has to basically work if you have no 5-star characters. And Genshin Impact is a particularly good example of this because the 4-star characters are much more consistent than in other games. It's much more realistic to get a lot or all of them, or the ones you specifically want, compared to other gacha games. And the 5-star characters are even less accessible than in similar games. So it's even more true that the 5-star characters in Genshin Impact, if you look at them, are very consistently kind of like they're very different, but they are ultimately a powered up version of a 4-star character. They're not the same. They feel meaningfully different. It's not like a problem for the variety in the game or anything, but ultimately they are replaceable by some or a few 4-star characters. And they've very clearly been designed at least partially to be that way. If there is a character that is sort of an electro-physical hybrid damage dealer, there is a 4-star character like that as well. If you play the game, you probably know the characters I'm talking about. I hope that makes some sense. So what interests me about this is that it means that the game has to sell you on the character not based on their gameplay viability. The game can maybe try a little bit to sort of fool you into thinking the character is sort of okay, which Genshin Impact arguably does, but if you have half a brain, you won't think that. And the only reason you're going to want the character is because you want them. You can't need them. The game is designed in a way where you cannot need the character. So you would just have to want them. For the game to make money, you need to want the characters. And the game goes to pretty absurd lengths to do that. In Fate Grand Order, for example, we're turning a bunch of historical figures into waifus. And they have crazy waifu outfits. But if it's that shallow, then maybe you won't get so interested. So they have elaborate descriptions for why the character is a waifu. For example, Hokusai is a character design that I love in Fate Grand Order. Now you might be thinking, Hokusai, he's that artist that did the wave, the Great Well in the Wave of the 36 views of Mount Fuji, in the Well of the Great Wave of Kanagawa. You know this image. If you don't, look it up. You'll recognize it immediately. You've seen it everywhere. It's like one of the most iconic pieces of Japanese artwork ever. So why is he a waifu? Zandy likes Hokusai that much? No, it's his daughter, of course. Now, Hokusai did have a daughter of historical significance because this game knows no bounds. They have, I don't know what it is, but the funny thing about Fate Grand Order, the fun thing to me about Fate Grand Order, is that the game has an obsession with making every character a waifu or a sexy husbando character. And it feels this amazing need to justify why. So why is Hokusai's daughter so hot? Why would you summon Hokusai's daughter as a heroic spirit instead of just Hokusai? Why is Hokusai's daughter a tentacle lolly? Okay, so historically, this is real. Hokusai painted woodblock paintings that were tentacle porn. That is real. That is a real thing that happened. And they were like, hey, we want to put a hot girl with tentacles into our game. So what we're going to do is like historical figures that drew tentacle porn and had a cute daughter. Oh, Hokusai, cool. Like, imagine making this thing. Anyway, so that was my example outside of Genshin Impact. But the thing that's interesting about Genshin Impact is that it is a game that is grounded in its own logic, much more than Fate Grand Order, which is just like anything goes, basically. And the things that enter the game are just crazy, and they can be totally tone-breaking, and, well, there really is no tone because there's things like that. But Fate Grand Order, Genshin Impact, excuse me, is a game that is operating on its own logic. You're in a world with politics and trade, and they might not go into all of that in enormous detail. It's a little confusing how small the regions are. How is Liyue some kind of gigantic commercial capital when it's so small? Mondstadt is a country, but it's like one small castle town. What? Can't like one guy who's kind of powerful just go conquer it? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. But despite that silliness, Genshin Impact is a game that is grounding itself in its own kind of realism, right? Characters have social classes that you notice. Characters have likes and dislikes and goals that are kind of reflected in the world. You can sort of see how the environment they're in is somewhat a result of, what they want or do or who they are. Diluc is the owner of a winery in Mondstadt. So he looks like a dude who owns a winery. You might be saying, obviously. The thing I like about Diluc is I almost own Diluc's outfit. Like, it's just clothes that people wear these clothes in real life. Like, Diluc is just wearing clothes that some people wear. Maybe the tie is like too fat. His tie is too fat. But that's probably to make it read better at a distance, right? And then there's this funny thing about Diluc's character design. So he has a ponytail, and he's got one of those kind of a tailcoat, not super long tailcoat, but he has some minor coattails going on. He's got a coat with that sort of fur thing. It's dark colored. He doesn't look like some creepy aristocrat. He's a sexy boy. But he has a ponytail, right? So in real life, you would just put the coat on and your ponytail would kind of go over the back. But this is a video game, so they don't want it to clip because that would look bad. And so his coat collar has a notch in the back so his ponytail can get by, which is to me hilarious, and I love it. But besides that, it's like this is just a normal character. I don't know. Diluc and Kaya are often cited as characters that they just rated Hot Topic. Like they look a little bit out there, but just go to a Hot Topic and buy $200 of stuff. It's like you basically look like that. It's not. It's like people look like this in real life and walk around looking like this. Keqing is a harder example. I love Keqing's character design. I think she's hot. I think that her dress is cute. I like her as a person in the game. I like this character a lot. But she doesn't really make any sense. She's wearing basically a prom dress, and that's fine because she's a rich aristocrat. Okay, she looks like a rich aristocrat. And it's not poofy or anything. I mean, it looks like, you can walk around in it. She's a very active aristocrat. She does a lot of things herself. Yeah, but one of the things she does herself is survey the land, as in, go mountaineering. And yeah, she's wearing a prom dress and tights. So no, you can't. How? Now, in the games, the game doesn't try to use this as a defense, but in the game's defense, she can literally teleport. Her ability in the game is she can throw a electro dagger and then teleport to it. So when you play her in the game, you can use that to avoid climbing up a small hill. But anyway, you see the point, right? These are clothes that you might wear in real life, just not to do anything, like to a prom or a sexual encounter, perhaps, or simply to impress aesthetically for romance. You might wear these clothes in real life, but not to do the things Keqing does. And there's this whole little thing I was reading there's some backstory stuff about the characters. And there's a little thing about Keqing where she has a hairpin and it's kind of oddly shaped like a hook. And so apparently she uses it to rappel down cliffs when she needs to. What? No? You wouldn't? No? Or throws it into the water to stun fish and then she eats them. Or every character has a signature dish, and Keqing's is a grilled fish, but she's used her electro energy to grill the fish from the inside, and so it's kind of like a reverse fried fish. That's cool. I like that detail, but it's also Deus Ex Machina. Anyway, you get what I mean. It's a little bit silly, but I like that character design, and the reason I think I like it is that it isn't. The character is characterized enough that I'm willing to forgive the fact that, I would go so far as to say, when you meet Keqing in the story, I would almost believe that Keqing can somehow do these things in that outfit. She is portrayed as the most eminently capable person, like the most capable human being on Earth, except for Diluc, basically. And so there's a sort of suspension of disbelief that is allowable here, right? I'm not a party pooper. I can deal with my immersion getting stretched a little. And I guess the thing is that the game does kind of back that up. This character, who has a character design that is pushing it a lot more than a lot of other characters for what they actually do, is a character who's very assertive, and the game really inspires confidence in her. So you're much more inclined to say, okay, she somehow does these things in a prom dress. Fine. And high heels. That's, whatever. So that's one thing. And if you look at a lot of the other characters, they do wear things that it's a stylized outfit because they're character designs. You have to want to get them because they look distinct. But they do kind of look like they could do the thing they need to do in that thing, right? Faker and Order Heroic Spirits, by contrast, are generally very stylized because they're meant to be sort of a crystallization of their myth, or that's the very good justification for why they make the outfits impractical. But in this game, in Genshin Impact, they have to do a little more. A few more examples before we go. Diona. Diona is a bartender. She's part cat, I guess. They don't explain that very well. She's a calico. I think that's a good choice of a cat girl to be because there's some different colors. Calicos are cute. I have a calico. And she's a bartender. She is meant to be more of a normal citizen. Popular, but a normal citizen. And so she wears clothes that are normal citizen-y. I don't really like this thing that Genshin Impact doesn't do a lot, but a lot of things do this, where the character just has kind of like a symbol of some kind, and it's just everywhere. So like Diona, it's like she has a huge purse that is a cat paw. She has little cat paw booties, which like I guess they're cute in a like aw child cute kind of way, but I don't like them. Like they're ugly. I mean they're not like aesthetically ugly. I'm just saying like I personally don't enjoy them. You asked me what I like in these things, so and I just feel like it goes too far. Like I would more enjoy if Diona was just wearing normal, reasonable clothes instead of somehow having her own private production factory where she can somehow get all these cat accessories made only for her and nobody else. I guess we don't know for sure that only she has them, but you know what I mean. There's this sort of syndrome where you think, where did you get those clothes? Like, how do you have these things? I don't understand. And a lot of the other characters do a relatively better job of this. There are other little things. Mona has a attractive outfit, but I don't really see how, like, is this a world where people just walk around not wearing basically any clothes? Or like Fischl is another example. Do people do think those characters are odd when they see them, but not because they're not really wearing anything. That's a little, I don't know. Again, I don't hate fun. I just kind of want to know. I think it would be fine if people were reacted to those characters in the game when you saw them and said, what are you wearing? And the character just glossed over it because they're an arrogant or self-absorbed or above it all kind of character. Fine. I just personally, I kind of like it to be acknowledged in some way and just let the thing accept it. Again, I think it's sort of fun, but I don't know necessarily why, but it makes me enjoy the character design more. I mentioned in Faker and Order, I actually have a lot of fun with the completely absurd Deus Ex Machina explanations for why you made this tentacle lolly is just ridiculous and hilarious to me because they go into so much detail. They put so much effort into doing this thing, and it's just insane to me. I think it's fun. And I like seeing just crazy looking character designs, but I do like them to be, if not realistic, just sort of grounded in, there's something about, I want them to be able to be imaginable in the real world. I do naturally think about what would this thing be if it was in real life. Like if Diluc was a real dude, would his clothing work? Yeah. The little gap for his ponytail would probably look a bit weird in real life, but it would be mostly fine. I think he would look so put together that you wouldn't notice it too much, right? Keqing, I have dated a girl that has a dress like this, so clearly you can wear that in real life, right? Diona, sure. There are people that have like themed accessories for what they like, I guess. And it looks just as silly in real life as it does in the game. Or maybe a little less silly. One other example that I kind of like, the Traveler, your main character in Genshin Impact. I picked Lumine, but you might have picked Aether, the guy. They are dressed pretty differently, and I kind of like that because it's implied that that's more like the normal clothing where they are from, which is not here. That's the whole plot. And so I find it kind of fascinated by how their outfits are very different. They have this regal, sort of angelic, very intentionally angelic motif that I like. I think it's nice. It's something a bit different. I think Lumine's scarf is a little odd. I don't know why. It just seems uncomfortable given what else she's wearing. I don't know. Okay, so now at the end, you just listened to a lot of me talk about theory, and now I'm just going to lightning round things that I personally enjoy. So if you really wanted to indulge in my personal taste that much, here you go. Thigh highs, not necessarily for absolute territory, but I mean, that's fine too. I really like dresses. My female aesthetic, I like dresses. That's who I am. They can be poofy dresses. They don't have to be not poofy dresses. They can be dresses. I like dresses. I like male outfits that have some kind of more loose-fitting pants, or like a kilt can be fine. I'm not sure I want people with kilts in real life as much, but kilts can be cool. Sure. I like robes, I suppose. That's a character design in games that I often enjoy. I like kimono. That I think they're pretty. Let's see. Hair accessories overall. For guys too, I think that that's an underexplored bit of territory. I really like earrings, probably obviously, on guys and girls. I'm not sure I like them as much on girls, actually. I don't know. But I like a guy with an earring. Come on. Let's be reasonable here. I like belts. Belts are interesting, guys and girls. Cinches are cool. What else? I don't mind characters that are a little busy. I think that Warframe, a game we didn't touch on hardly at all in this one, has character designs for the Warframes that are pretty complicated pretty busy because the aesthetic of the game is busier, right? It's not meant to be quite the same, but some of them are not even too busy for me. I don't mind a busy character design. Keqing has an awful lot going on her dress, and I don't mind. I think it can look kind of nice. I think that what makes busyness and asymmetry, I also really like asymmetry, which we didn't get into almost at all here. Keqing, here she's probably starting to make a bit more sense now based on all the stuff I said. I like, if you're going to have an outfit be busy, what I was saying, I think that it's very useful to create a sort of palette refresher. So Keqing, for example, has her dress, which is it kind of seems like it's, it might be a bodysuit and then a cinch rather than actually a dress, or a skirt worn in a very odd way, or it might be connected and it's all a dress. And it has this nice blotch of white near her neck, which really refreshes you from all the insanity going on the cinch part of the dress, if that's what it is, which I think is nice. I think that's why I like it. It has some blocks, or like the fact that she's just wearing tights, or if she wasn't wearing tights, you get this refresher where it's like just, I mean, leg for one thing, but you know, just color block, insanity of the middle of the dress, color block, and then Keqing has lots of purple hair, and so I guess color block as well. So I like that. Basically just the video where for 30 minutes I explained to you in great detail why Keqing is my waifu in Genshin Impact. Thanks for asking, FreeWilliam. Good excuse for me to talk about that.